to Uncle Owen and to the family. And thereafter we get started on actually. Thank you.
You want to organize?
Hi everyone. You're welcome to come forward and pay your respects as the bhajan group plays music. Okay? So please make your way and come through.
वक्रतुण्ड महाकाय सूर्यकोटि समप्रभ निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सदा। ॐ गणपतये नमो नमः। त्रिसिद्धिविनायक नमो नमः। अष्टविनायक नमो नमः। गणपति बप्पा मोरिया मंगलमूर्ति मोरिया। ॐ गणपतये नमो नमः। त्रिसिद्धिविनायक नमो नमः। अष्टविनायक नमो नमः। गणपति बप्पा मोरिया मंगलमूर्ति मोरिया। ॐ गणपतये नमो नमः। त्रिसिद्धिविनायक नमो नमः। अष्टविनायक नमो नमः। गणपति बप्पा मोरिया मंगलमूर्ति मोरिया। ॐ गणपतये नमो नमः। त्रिसिद्धिविनायक नमो नमः। अष्टविनायक नमो नमः। गणपति बप्पा मोरिया मंगलमूर्ति मोरिया। ॐ गणपतये नमो नमः। त्रिसिद्धिविनायक नमो नमः। अष्टविनायक नमो नमः। मंगलमूर्ति मोरिया मंगलमूर्ति मोरिया मंगलमूर्ति मोरिया। ॐ विनायकाय विद्महे विघ्नराजाय धीमहि तन्नो दन्ते प्रचोदयात्।
नमस्तुते नमस्तुते जय जगदम्बा नमस्तुते 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 जय जगदम्बा नमस्तुते 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 काली मैया नमस्तुते 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 काली मैया नमस्तुते 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 दुर्गा मैया नमस्तुते 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 दुर्गा मैया नमस्तुते 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 लक्ष्मी मैया नमस्तुते 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 लक्ष्मी मैया नमस्तुते
Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Sai Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama
Dear Sajana, indeed a very sad occasion, whereby the soul of a young loving lad, Owen, has been caught by the Supreme Lord under tragic circumstances. We here to pray to God. Almighty God, you are merciful. Bless the departed soul in heaven, and may the bereaved family, the loving son and daughter, and relatives attain strength and courage to bear this immense loss. Most of our Hindus are concerned about time of the soul leaving the body. Soul left the body. Sarva Tirat Siddhiyo, which means all blissful time, and Tirat means a journey back to the Creator. Devya Sajna, we come from God, we serve God, we realize God, and when the call is made, we go back to God. Fire and water are two important elements associated with cremation in Hinduism. First, the body is consumed by fire. Next, the ashes are immersed in running water. This symbolizes the cycle of life. There is no death in Hinduism. There's only transformation. Just as the river searching for the ocean, the individual soul searches for the ultimate destination, moksha or liberation. Bhagwan Sri Ram put an end to his presence on earth by entering the sacred Sarau river. Devya Sajna, in the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna explained to us, just as the sun that gives the whole world, the whole universe, light, warmth and life, in like manner, the small light in us here called Jiva Atma. We are called Jiva Atma, we are called soul, we are called spirit. This is what we are. As long as this body is functioning well, the soul stays with us. And when the body starts functioning, it makes its journey for a new creation, according to his karma, his deeds. Our young lad, he left the earth and on his way, the devotee of Lord Shiva, we go to Shiva Lok. The devotee of Ram, Hanuman, Vishnu Bhagwan, we go to Vishnu Lok. Our book of prayer in the Bhagavad Gita, the Ramayana. Devya Sajna, he leaves behind his loving children, Aveer, Yashna, and many friends and relatives. But looking ahead his picture and meeting him personally, what a great lad he was. And today he returned to God. Prayer is a healer. Shall we all chant? Om Vishwani Deva Saritara Duritani Parasuva Yat Patantanya Suva Om Hiranya Garbhaha Samavatitagre Bhutasya Jataha Patireka Ase Sadadhara Pritavim Dhyamute Mam Kasmai Devaya Visha Videma Om Ya Atmada Balada Yasha Vishwa Upasate Prashisham Yasya Deva Yasya Chamitam Yasya Mitayo Kasmai Devaya Visha Videma Om Yaha Pranato Nimishato Mahepeka Idraja Jagato Bhabova Ya Isha Sadripada Chatulpadaha Kasmai Devaya Visha Videva Om Yena Jorugra Pritavi Chadridha Yena Svaha Sabitam Yena Nakaha Yo Antarikshara Jaso Vimanaha Kasmai Devaya Visha Videvam Om Prajapate Natvade Tanyanyo Vishwadatani Parita Babhova Yakamasta Juhumastano Atubhayam Shama Pathairahinam Om Sanno Bandura Janita Savi vidata dhamani veda bhuvanani vishva yatra deva mritamana krite dhammanna jayanta. Om Agnenaya Supataraya Asman Vishwani Devayunani Vidvan Yuho Tasma Juhuranamena Bhuitante Namtavidema. It's Bhagavan, the Creator, the Lord. Today we lean on Him, Ki Paramatma, lessen our sorrows. Indeed we miss Owen. Let us pray to you, O Lord, to comfort the family in this great loss. We have a little prayer done on ritual and then I'll continue. Those who just come now, please. You can pay tribute. Om Amrito Pastanamasi Swaha. Om Amrita Pidanmasi Swaha. Om Satyam Yasha Shri Masi Swaha. Wash your hand. Shanti Karma Mantra, prayer of peace to the departed soul and prayer for peace in the family. Very close relatives, brothers and sisters, will now take prayer of the hand. After each mantra you shall offer. Om Sham Naindragni Bhavatamaobhi Shamna Indra Varuna Rata Havya Shaminda Soma Suritaya Shanyo Shanna Indra Pushana Vajasatayo offer. Om Shanna Bhagaha Shamona Chato Astu Shanna Puradisham Saturaya Shanna Tata Swayamasa Shantaha Shanna Aryama Purujato Astu. Om Shanna Tata Shamudharatano Astu Shanna Urujvalari Shabrodasi Prihati Shanna Adriha Shanna Devana Suhavani Santu. Om Shanna Agnirajotiraneko Astu Shanna Sukrita Sukritani Santu Shanna Svatu Vataha. Om Shanna Java Pritave Purva Bhuta Sadishana Astu Shanna Oshati Panina Bhavantu Sadishana. Offer that last one. Say Om Shri Vishnu Namaha, Om Shri Krishna Namaha. I am doing this prayer. Whatever oh Lord Krishna, whatever the soul of Owen may, only thou knowest, blessed soul. Shanno Devi Ravikaya Apo Havantu Pikaye Jadavisantu Naha Swaha. Next one, Betty. Om Shanno Devi Ravikaya Apo Havantu Pikaye Jadavisantu Naha Swaha. Om Shanno Devi Ravikaya Apo Havantu Pikaye Jadavisantu Naha Swaha. Om Shanno Devi Ravikaya Apo Havantu Pikaye Jadavisantu Naha Swaha. Om Shanno Devi Ravikaya Apo Havantu Pikaye Jadavisantu Naha Swaha. Om Bhurvasva. Take Om Jiva Owen Kaushal Vahaswaha on that. Bring it forward from the cloth. Okay. Om Jiva Kaushal, Owen Kaushal, Sakai Swaha. Om Jiva, Owen Kaushal, Pai Swaha. Om Jiva, Owen Kaushal, Bhumi Pai Swaha. Om Owen Kaushal, Prayate Swaha. Okay, leave the key one side. Take one to the leaf. Om Deva Savita Prasuvaya Janam Prasuvaya Gnapatim Bhagaya Divyo Gandhavapadatu. Sit here now. All those who just come now, please pay tribute before I continue the unfinished. you such know, Hindu clear. There are 16 sacraments, sacred sanskara a Hindu should rightly follow to attain moksha. And the final being Antyeshti, Antim, the last, most important sacrament performed now in memory of Owen. Most of us know Viva Sanskar and Antyeshti. It's the main puja, the most important puja which we do today. Tvamadidevaha purushaha Puranasya Vishwa Paramedhanam Vetase Veduncha Pranchadham Tvayatata Vishwamanantrupa. Almighty God, who has been with us in creation, who is the supreme treasure of this vast universe, you are the knower, the knowledge, and the final recipient of all being. You are the infinite present, in whom all things are, to pervade the entire universe with the courage and fortitude in you. Vasansi nani yatha vihaya navani griha nati naro prane tata shaida vihajena jnanani nya tanyati navani dehi. Lord Krishna said in the Bhagavad Gita, when our soul discouraged torn, we take it off and wear a new one. Likewise, when the sharit, this body, is non-functionable, the Atma in this body to take a new one. This sharit, this body we have, is God's temple, made of earth, water, fire, atmosphere, ether called pit or Vrinda. Nadayata mitat vakadachin naina vutra bhavita vabhuha anajo nipyata shana purano nahanyata hanyemane sharire. Again the Lord said, never is a soul born, never does it die, unborn and eternal, beyond time gone by, are yet to come. The soul does not die when the body dies. May we understand this truth, O God. Nainam Tindanti Chasrani, Nainam Dahati Pavakaha, Natelam Kadya Pona, Jagathutam. This soul, no weapon can wound it, no fire burn it, water cannot wet it, and wind cannot dry it. O God, may we find comfort in these truths. Jatasya hedruvya mitu dhruvam janma, mitasya cha. All things born must certainly die, and after death must come life. Knowing this, we must desist from sorrow. May we have the strength to do so, Almighty God. As one reads holy books, you prepare yourself that Paramatma, O Lord, we have to return home. We have to come back to you. Give us the courage to prepare ourselves. When we reach age 70, 80, we say, Bhagavan, we've got 10, 20 years to live. Give us the power to be humble, to be gentle, to be loving, to be caring, so we come back to the Lord. Om Vedaha Meta Purusha Mahantam Adityam Varanam Tamasvapalta Tameva Vidyate Naryati Nanya Panta Vidyananya. The Supreme Absolute Being is full of splendor, like the sun untainted by darkness. There is no other path to salvation and eternal bliss than by getting to know God. May we be blessed with wisdom to know Him, O Lord. Om Yama Atmada Balada Yesra Vishwapasate Prashisham Yesra Devaha Yesra Dhamita Yesra Mitayo Kaspai Devaha Visha Videma. In this hour of distress, we need you, O God, who alone can give us physical vigor and spiritual strength. All blessed divinity, whose grace is immortality, whose praise are sung by all enlightened person, we offer prayer to you and entreat you to lessen our sorrow. Om Suryam Chakshur Gacchatu Vatmata Dhyancha Gaccha Prithivimcha Dharmana Apavartata O Supreme Lord, may all the components of this body be merged in the five elements of this universe. May its vision be absorbed in the sun, its breath into the atmosphere, and its essence in the first element. May the soul, according to the deed performed here, dwell in the body with your such way. Understand, we are enjoying the bliss on the earth for all the good we did in the past lives. Now we're preparing for a new life. We are that create our new destiny. Om Sham Agne Pachatapa Sham Pruta Tatavina Ekata Vihita Jata Veda Sanyajena Dehi Sukritamo Loke. O God, who is self-luminous, who dispenses justice even-handedly, and who rewards one another justly, may the soul of Owen find peace in every direction. O God, may this soul be given a worthy abode. Om Sangatva Petripi Samenata Putena Parana Vyoman He Pantana Punita Sangatan Parma Sarvachaha. O God, make this soul by austerity, enlightened and good deed, attain like its forbid, superfit in heaven. May it be free from all blemishes and once again inherit an enlightened body full of luster and return to this world of noble deed. Om Vayura Nilam Amratam Akitam Pasmantam Shariram Om Kratos Mala Kratos Mala Kataktasala. Almighty God, this soul is immortal. It is not made of five elements. A mortal body will be reduced to ashes and will be disposed of suitably. May we remember every deed we do. At this point, it's nice to realize, God, every moment we do anything, oh Lord, I'm doing it in your name. Oh Ram, I can see in everybody. I can see God in everybody. And when we have this in our mind, that God is all pervading and we can see it everywhere and every week, we are all going to be in bliss. Om Ekeva Surit Haramo Nidhyanyati Yaha Sadan Samam Nasam Sharvantatatim. Almighty God, all material things perish with the death of the body. It's only one good deed, the dharma, that remains in the soul after death. May the dharma not be allowed to perish. Three things will go with us. All material things, our wife, children, motor car, jewelry, house, money, all will stay behind. Only a good deed will go with your soul. And Hindus will say, when you say Om Namah Shivaya Swaha in the Agnihotra, the fire worship, in the heaven, the Swaha stays close to your soul and he starts to school. I quote from the Upanishad. And number 3, Dan, charity that you do now in your living, diye ve daan zinda mein jate hai. When we are living, we must do charity, feed the needy, feed the hungry, share with your wealth. In some cases, we can give money to others. Those charity, that daan will go with the 3 things, and nothing more. Therefore, it is a good thing to learn to give charity while we are living. Feed the hungry, feed the needy, I repeat. There are homes without orphans and so on. You all know that around us there are many people who are suffering. And if we do these 3 charities, that will go with us. Om Asatoma Satgamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityunam Tangamaya. O Supreme Spirit, lead us from untruth to truth, from darkness to light, and from death to bliss. In this period, we lost a young man, a young son, a young brother, a loving husband. It's called Sutak, a time of mourning. Prayer does not stop. Your job doesn't stop. If you're working, you can work, you can sit one more and still look, feed for somebody and pray in your mind to God. Whatever the soul is, bless his soul. Only you know, oh Lord, where the soul is. So please do not stop praying. Some people in olden days, they say, Nani mar gaye hai, vanya ne puja karna. I know, I heard about that. So we have to rectify that. Prabhu tere dware आया है आत्मा janame marana ke phire talna, janame marana ke phire talna, mukti de do hai Paramatma, hum sab milkar करते हैं प्रार्थना, हम सब मिलकर करते हैं प्रार्थना, सद्गति दे दो हे परमात्मा, प्रभु तेरे द्वारे आया है आत्मा, प्रभु तेरे द्वारे आया है आत्मा, शांति दे दो हे परमा. This lovely poem mentions here, कि oh God, at your doorstep comes a soul, a spirit, bless the soul. David and Sajana, I hand it to the MC to continue the program.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome and thanks for attending today as we gather to mourn the tragic loss of our beloved father, brother, uncle and friend, Owen Balwanth. But at the same time, we also get to remember and cherish the special moments and memories that so many of us here today shared with him. We're going to have a couple of speeches now. And first up is Fonny, who has been a tennis buddy to Uncle Owen for many years. If Fonny could please come up.
I'll gather myself now. This is probably the hardest thing I've ever done. So bear with me. I apologize for my Afrikaans accent. I'm Free Stater. I am Afrikaans. So if my grammar errors, please forgive me. But hear my heart and see my heart in what I'm about to say. I met Owen 18 years ago. I arrived here from the Free State. And he's a Stanger boy, I'm a Free State Afrikaans boy. We come from different cultures, backgrounds, religions, everything. But tennis was our common denominator. But that became small. We just eat it off. So I thought, what am I going to say today? I am a man of many words. Those that know me, I can talk. Today I am speechless, yet I have so much to say. So I beg you, if I jump around, my mind's all over the place. Most of you are probably the same. There's nothing structured. I tried to write a little speech, but then this comes and that comes. I get other thoughts and other ideas. So if I jump around, please forgive me, but probably that's the same way you feel. When I got up yesterday morning, I wasn't preparing to stand here today. It's an honor and privilege that I wish I'd never had. So to the family, Mike, the sisters I've never met, Aveer, Yashna, and to everybody else here, my condolences. We've lost a lot. I look around here, I see so much love, but I see poverty. We are poor today. We've been robbed. I feel cheated, but I'm not angry. I feel privileged to have known the man, to have shared so much with him. First thing I thought is, when you get to a funeral, that people, you tend to hear all about all these good qualities. Everybody that ever dies, they were so good and they were so fantastic. And last night I thought, I'm going to try and do it the other way. And I thought, and I couldn't think of one bad quality of Owen. Probably his worst quality was, he was too good. He was too kind. Sometimes I felt this world was too rough for him. But he had his ups and he had his downs and his highs and his lows, as we all do. And Owen and I shared a few things. We shared divorces, and we shared happiness with children and sadness with children, and in work and in life and in everything. I remember the two of us after tennis just meeting and having a braai and being proud we are the bachelors of Richards Bay Country Club, and having a braai and having a few beers and a bit of Jameson. But we were happy, but we were also sad. But we leaned heavily on each other. I didn't phone Owen every day. He didn't phone me every day. I would be somewhere, and then I'd get a text, probably from work, so I hope his bosses don't complain, but get a, how's it, what are you doing? And say, well, I'm sleeping. He's working. Okay, check you and check this. And we'd meet for coffee at Mug and Bean, and you know, I've got so many thoughts of Owen, but you know, the thing that came up in my mind was, there's a quote that says, when the great scorer comes to call upon your name, he will not ask whether you won or lost, but how you played the game. Now, Owen played the game fair. Owen played hard, but he played fair. In everything that he did, he was fair, he was kind, he was gentle, he was a competitor. But he never had viciousness. He never was vexatious. He never looked for revenge. You know, sorry for another quote, Jim Courier, the Grand Slam tennis champion, once said, I asked him what's sportsmanship. And he said, sportsmanship is when two players get off the court, they shake hands, they get off the court, and by their demeanor, you cannot tell who won and who lost. And there was Owen. I would watch a tennis game and he'd come off, and I think he got his butt kicked, and then he won. Or, even when he lost, he was gracious in defeat. You know, at the tennis club, Owen was our best player, he was our club champion, but he was our best man. So we lost a champion, not only as a tennis player. Natal Tennis, he was so proud to put on that black and white tracksuit. And he was a fierce competitor. I played with him many times. I was his roommate on 4 or 5 occasions on interprovincials, and we shared lots of things. And I remember at night we'd come there and we'd have a Heineken or a Castle Light or a Quiet Jamie, and laugh about things and think about things, and tomorrow we'd go on. But those were his proudest moments. You guys wouldn't know what a respected man he was in SA tennis. People knew him. People respected him. People loved him. He had this red velvet jacket. My wife, when she got up this morning and she wanted, I said, put on that red jacket. That's Owen. He had a red jacket like that. I think it was velvet and a poor man's cap that he used to wear to the function with this little bow tie. The girls loved him. They loved him. They would have all married him if you asked them. They loved him. Owen was Owen. People that never had spoken to him of other teams, they just loved him. He knew he was that guy. I never saw Owen doubt a line call of another player ever. Not at club, never. Not at provincial level. Never doubted another guy's call. And I've never seen his calls being questioned. Never. Owen was that guy. So, I think about so many things that I don't know all what to say, because you all have him in your heart. They're not going to build a statue for Owen at the tennis club. They won't build one in Richards Bay, and they won't build one in Stanley. But that statue, that monument is in your heart, and it's here. That can never be taken away. I had a few loose ideas here, and the reason why I got structured, our friendship was never structured. It was never a formal thing, and then we got to do it this way and that way. It just went. And I apologize for the word, but Owen used to call me a kakprater. So I'm loud and busy, and I would often embarrass him and make jokes with him. And then he said, hey, yo, kakprater, we cheers, and there we go. And we enjoyed each other's company. I felt good about myself when I was in his presence. He made me feel so good about myself. I often wished I could be Owen. I often tried to emulate him. But nobody can ever be Owen. Nobody. The world would have been a better place with 1 million more Owens. We only had one and it was taken away. So I had a few ideas. I think I've run over so many of them that the one other quality I just want to say is about what I said earlier. You must appreciate Owen and I come from such diverse backgrounds in our country and the age we are. We were born in under apartheid and we went over and we came to the new South Africa, and it was all new experiences for both of us. Never ever did we have one fight, one disagreement. He made his point. He was no pushover. He was a tiger. He was a fighter. But never fought dirty. Never fought under the belt. And he was such an example. I think the biggest thing, bigger than tennis, and bigger than all his friendship with all of you, was his children. His love for his children. Aveer, Yasna. I met Yasna, I don't know, I said yesterday to her, I don't know whether I met her. I think I met her once briefly. Aveer I've known. He was a young man and he played rugby for Grant Lee still. I think that's when I met you, standard 9. That was at grade 11. So I've known Aveer, and Owen just returned recently from Interpro. Before the time he said he's going to Bloem, he's going to see Aveer and he's going to be with him. And I think you came to visit Yasna, or he went down to you. But the point is, that was his love, that was his thing. And Owen never gave up on any of us. Never. So don't give up on him. You know, I'm old school. And never when I called Owen was he too busy to take my call. Never when I spoke to him was he too busy to speak to me. Never was my call cut and said, I'll phone you later, there's a more important call. There's a more important person than you. Never. You, in his presence, you were the most important person there right now. He had such compassion, such love, such softness and kindness to him that I just stood in awe. So, thank you very much for indulging me. I will never have this opportunity again. So to Owen, my maat, that's my friend, my mate, people know the word, he used to call me my maat. He'd like to chip in a bit of Afrikaans with me every now and then. Jy was 'n eyster. I don't know. We will go on, but it's like a limb that's been chopped off. It will heal, but the scar will always be there. But we'll have good memories and fond memories. And we'll miss you. Rest in peace, brother. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Fonnie, for those words. Really straight from the heart, genuine and authentic. And thank you for sharing it with us and honoring Uncle Owen here today. So thank you so much. The next speaker is it's Indran or someone from the K&K family to come say a few words. I've been told, apart from the official title of being called family, K&K was family to Uncle Owen up here in Richards Bay in every other sense of the word, because he spent most of his free time at K&K Curries. And to those who haven't paid their last respects, while the speeches are going on, you guys are welcome to come up and pay your last respects.
Hi. I would have spoken from the heart, but I had to prepare something, otherwise I will never get through this. Hi, family and friends. We are Owen's K&K family. We knew Owen about 15 years now. Owen was a person who always had the biggest smile and would greet everyone with such a kind and loving heart. He was not just a brother, but also a father figure to us, who was always there to pick us up when we were down or give us advice and wisdom about life or any aspect you're in. We always teased him about how fit he was for his age. Our late brother Morgan would always tease him, bad belly with a hard body. We would always tell him that he would outlive us. And that is why, standing here today, having to say goodbye to him is the hardest thing we have to do. Even though he loved many, there is nothing he loved more than his children. And we talk endlessly about their successes and how proud he was of you. Just the other day he was talking about how happy he was to visit his son-in-law and got to spend time with his daughter and meet his future son-in-law on Father's Day weekend. He was such a family man and couldn't wait to get his off so he could see or spend time with all of them, including his brother and sisters. We knew so much about his family. It's a shame we didn't get to meet them while he was still around. There is so much to say about Owen and how much our lives would change without him. We know for sure though, he's up there smiling and awaiting us with bated breath, along with our other fallen brothers, knowing one day that we shall meet again. To his family and friends, know that Owen lived his life to his fullest, and he would leave you with this parting words, which was his motto: we are here for a short time, but for a good time. We're going to miss you, our big brother, until we meet again.
Thank you for those words. Uncle Owen was definitely the fittest looking 54-year-old I've ever seen. Next up is Marcel from Richards Bay Tennis Club.
In life, in essence, we as humans strive to find the balance in enjoying and creating a better future for our children. Owen was that guy. So I'm quite new at the tennis club, and I had a very short time to meet and to know Owen. But even prior to me meeting him, his reputation has reached me as the man on court that you want to beat, because it's extremely difficult. The man on court that you want to play like, as he was the gentleman of the tennis club. And it truly was. When we had our Saturday socials and Owen had his thumbs up that he was coming, I cancelled everything. Because that was what you were practicing for, to play a game against Owen. Today we celebrate the life of a great tennis player. We celebrate the life of a great friend, a great father, great brother. We celebrate the life of a great role model. And may his life never leave us. May the example he set stay with us. But it is with great sorrow that we have to bid him a farewell today. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Marcel. Next up, we got someone from work, Ganesh.
Thank you. Namaste to the Panditji, family, friends, the Balwanth family. Okay, I was not prepared for this, and it's very sad. You know, Owen, I think Owen joined my team when I started at the in 1995. I've known him from back then, and we've grown up together. You know, I always called him Mr. Balwanth, never called him Owen by his name. He's such a humble person. You know, you look at all his friends today, at work too, always smiling. You know, he could have his worst days, but he always had a smile. And that was Owen for me. You know, I was just listening to what Fonny was saying. You know, I played some tennis when I could there. I think Fonny, you said everything to what this gentleman was. To the Hillside family, I think it's a huge loss. You know, this man was dedicated, passionate. You know, as I said, even on his worst days, you know, he'll make things happen at work. And that's just what Owen was. So I think to the Hillside family, you know, huge loss. But let's remember the good things that Owen left us with. You know, great leadership, great person, always persevering, always happy. And I think to what Fonny said, you know, he went through so many ups and downs, you know, and I was part of that. You know, I should talk to him. But he never gave up. You know, I think he had a business, he left work, he started a business. He came back to Hillside, and I think he grew his family to where they are. You should be proud of Dad. You know, he worked hard to get to where he was, but he never complained. So Owen, rest in peace, my friend. We will miss you. I think the Hillside South 32 family will miss you. The Richardsburg community, you know, I also used to meet him sometimes at K&K, there, buying a bunny for the wife. Always happy, always jovial, and that's all we want to remember. To the family, may God give you all His might. It's going to be a tough time, tough journey. But as Fonny said, you know, there's always a place. You know, God knows who He wants, and He's an angel now. So thank you very much. All the strength to the friends and families. May you rest well, Owen. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ganesh and Marcel. I guess just to all the speakers up to date now, for sharing with us, especially the family members who are not here in Richards Bay, just for you guys to give us some insight into the way Uncle Owen lived his life. It really, really is heartwarming. Next up is Uncle Owen's oldest brother, Uncle Mike. Probably his best friend as well. They had a very close bond together. I mean, we say we grow apart when we grow older, but I think these two brothers just grew closer. They spent lots of time together on the tennis courts and off the tennis courts as well. So Uncle Mike.
Good afternoon, Panditji, family and friends. Excuse me if I read because I'm old school. By the way, Fonny, excellent from the heart. I just loved everything he said about Owen. It is with me. It's with a very heavy heart that I speak about my dear departed and most loved brother, Owen. He's Owen Kushial Balwanth. So okay, Balwanth. So we asked him, "Oh, how are you feeling?" "No, I'm okay." That was his favorite. By the way, I'm Mike Balwanth, the elder brother of Owen, and we have an age difference of 10 years. And pardon me if I break down, as Owen was more than a brother to me. We shared very fond and memorable times together, from holidaying to tennis and lots of social events. Words like tower of strength, inspirational, compassionate, and loving only just begin to describe Owen. He was warm, intelligent, kind, and funny. He was unfailingly generous of spirit and time. And as you all know, he had the most infectious smile, and he had an internal love for family and friends. They say that the value of a man should be seen not in what he receives, but rather in what he gives. Owen had a heart of gold and always gave. The memories that we treasure will never ever disappear. Owen is the youngest of our 6 siblings. His exceptional talent was as a tennis player, as Fonny pointed, and he played numerous tournaments over the last 40 some odd years, most recently excelling in his age group in the Vets Championships and Interprovincial Championships. He traveled the length and the breadth of the country, playing at very high levels. He was even crowned the triple champion a few years here in Zululand, the Zululand Open. Singles, doubles, and mixed doubles in the same year. Most recently, he encouraged me to get back into the sport that he grew up with. Both of us, we grew up with sport. Me being 64 and he being 54. And ever since he's encouraged me to get back, I have no regrets. He was a very dedicated father to his two children, as you've heard, Yashna and Aveer. He showered them with love and affection very unselfishly. When it came to his work, he was very committed, dedicated, and disciplined. He had friends from all walks of life and treated everyone equally, respectfully, whether it was a waiter, waitress, or a car guard. I had the recent privilege of spending an evening with him the previous week, and he virtually rolled out the red carpet for me and my daughter Ali and my son-in-law Wade. Right. He took us on a tour of Richards Bay first, the sights and sounds of Richards Bay, his favorite spots, and then he took us to the favorite K&Ks. Thank you, Indran and Ronel, and all your staff and patrons for treating my brother Owen so well. Each and every one of us here today will recall one special moment that you spent with our beloved Owen. I bet you if I go around the hall here, every one of you all can relate one experience that you had. He would always make you special and had such a zest for life. With Owen, there was never a dull moment. I suppose in everybody's life, one thing is certain, and that we'll all leave this place someday. God's abode is awaiting us. Brother Owen, rest in eternal peace, reunited with Mum, Dad, and Ravi, smiling down on all of us from your new abode. You have served well and reached match point without dropping a single set. No more fluid backhands or flawless ground strokes or crisp volleys. You have made a host of tennis brains over time and respected all. Words will never express how much we all will miss you. Your legacy will live on and spiritually too. Owen worked and lived alone. This multi-talent guy did not have a domestic person to help him to clean his house. He did it all himself, and his place was always meticulously clean. He cooked sumptuous meals and entertained family and friends. He fixed things around the house, electrical installations, drilling, installing TVs, and all that, home theater systems, plumbing, etc. He loved to travel and to explore new destinations. He loved his children very, very dearly, and he walked the end of the earth to be for them. At the drop of a hat, he would drive to see Aveer in Bloemfontein, or fly down to Cape Town to see Yashna. At work, he endured the heat of the factory, high temperatures, and he covered almost 16 kilometers a day in steps, recorded on his phone. He loved his music and his movies. I think I don't have to overstay. Thank you all for listening. I just got to thank all his workmates and the work team for coming around today, and even his supervisor, and even China that I met. And I've seen his tennis mates here, Ronel and David Crouch. Welcome, they traveled from Durban. And even Phony, excellent. I learned more about your relationship with Owen today. And for those who have traveled, like Cape Town and PE, East London, my sister's driven up from East London because we couldn't get flights, and all the others have traveled from far and wide. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. And I'm sure my brother would really appreciate that. Lastly, I think the biker clubs. Thank you for your tribute when we were carrying the Owen into the hall. And there's something here for my last thing on my list here is from my sister-in-law in Cape Town. She couldn't get a flight. She says, Michael, can you please offer my apologies and read this out at his funeral? It is with such sadness and a heavy heart that I write this. This news of Owen's passing has certainly been a difficult one to accept. I've had no words to express since the news of your passing until now. You have gone too soon. It is all I can say presently. My sincere condolences to Yashna and Aveer and to all of my Balwanth family. Owen has been a dear brother-in-law and a loving uncle to my boys and I. He made an effort to be part of his nephews' lives and has hence been the closest resemblance to a father figure my boys ever had since the loss of their dad. We have missed him every time he left Cape Town to return home after he visited his kids and us, and look forward to his next visit always. During those visits, he met many of my friends, son's friends, and made such an impression there over the last 2 days. Shano's home here in Cape Town was busy with friends popping in to sit with us and convey their sympathy for the last 2 days. The numerous messages and telephone calls the boys and I see is an indication of the mark he left on people's lives. To Yashna, this is from Brenda, I will be there for you when you return, and Aveer, whenever you visit Cape Town, we will be there, be here for you too. Your dad was an amazing father, uncle, and brother-in-law to us all. May his soul rest in peace, Owen. The word funeral is one that I wish not to ever hear. It gives such finality. Please, on behalf of my boys and myself, accept my sincerest apology for not being in attendance due to the unavailable flights. Take care and God bless. That was from Brenda. I think that's all. Thank you all again, once again. We went to the crematorium. Obviously, the MC will tell you what's happening.
Thanks so much, Uncle Mike, and for doing the vote of thanks here today. We've got one more speaker. Last but not least, Aveer, the apple of Uncle Owen's eye, together with Yashna, whom he was extremely, extremely proud of and loved unconditionally. Aveer.
Sorry everyone, I know we are a bit over time, but if you could indulge us just a few last words on our father. We're going to speak on my behalf and then on Yashna's behalf. I'm a bit shaky, I'm on a saltless fast and I've lost a little salt through my eyes today, so please. My sister asked me to speak on behalf of both of us because as a teacher, I'm used to speaking very calmly and composed in front of large groups of people, even though inside we are breaking down inside all the time. For those of you who don't know, I'm a philosophy major, so I'm a clinical overthinker. So while I was busy pondering and questioning the meaning and purpose of my life, my father was just busy living and enjoying his. And that's always the way he taught us, through his actions, not through baseless words. I'm not a particularly religious man myself, despite looking very Moses-like. But my philosophy in life is just to try and be a good man, to try and always do the right thing. And I think nobody embodied that better than my father through all his actions. He was always there to help with a warm smile and a helping hand, especially around the shoulder. I had many conversations with my father, particularly about his job and where he stayed, and just life in general as I got older. I would ask him if he was happy here, if he didn't want to move, get another job. I know how dull Richards Bay can be sometimes, and I also know how physically demanding his job was, especially on him. He would very diplomatically say that he knew his job afforded him to live the life he wanted to, and he was fine with that. He could go and play his tennis, ride his bike, and clock in and put his hours at K&Ks, as he would say. So that was the way my dad viewed his life, always looking for the positives. One perfect story to sum him up and our relationship with him would be the one where he picked my sister up from school one day. So in primary school, we stayed about 1 kilometer from our primary school, and we would walk to school and back every day. One particular day, however, my sister had market day, so she had a bunch of containers, and he promised her he would be there in the afternoon to pick her up with the car. So after school, my sister waited, and she waited. He was nowhere to be seen. Eventually, she said, the next car that comes, if it's not her father, she will go and wait with her friend. It was my father, but he was unfortunately not in the car. He came cycling up very slowly on the bicycle. My sister was mortified with embarrassment. She promptly gave him the containers, hopped on the bike, and cycled away, leaving him to walk home. The thing is, the reason my dad came with a bicycle was because the infamous liftback car that he had, it wouldn't start, as was per usual. So he promised Yashin that he would be there, so he didn't let that stop him. And I think that really sums it up. He would do anything for those he cared about, especially us in his life, even if it meant sacrificing, his own comfort, his own well-being. And he always strived to show us that. On a personal note, I've had my fair share of mental struggles, and for a while now, I honestly believe that I would probably go before my dad. He was so full of joy and life. I could never imagine his flame even dwindling. But on Saturday morning, that was the cold reality I woke up to. I feel the best way I can honor my dad is to live my life the way he lived his. Because I think that's just what he wanted. I'll leave you on my side with a quote. It's actually similar to Phony's quote. It was used when Superman died, which I think is very fitting because on many a Father's Day card, I would say how my dad was a super dad. And it says, if you seek his monument, look around you. I think that's all we have to do today. Just look around at how many people are here to say goodbye. Just quickly going to read something from my sister. Sorry about that. From Yashna. Sorry. When I have so much I wish to say, words fail me in this time, and I feel like I cannot express myself enough as to how much I love my dad. My Yashi, as I fondly remember him calling my name. Check out my mutton curry I made, a laka mutton curry, sending me his picture of the food. All I can do now is replay every conversation, every smile, every dad joke, every time we spent together, and know that I had the best dad in the world. A man who was so proud of my brother and I and all we've achieved so far. A man who would keep clippings of us every time we appeared in the newspaper, who kept every report card we had since grade 1, who had always supported us in every way he could. Growing up, we truly had the best childhood. Mom and Dad gave us everything they possibly could, and at that time, it wasn't much. However, we as kids never felt the adult pressures they faced and truly grew up as happy, humble, and carefree, fully loved by my parents always. Fast forward to now, and I can look back smiling at every memory we created. What a full life my dad has led. Not only did he teach me to live in the moment, but also how to spread joy to others, how to always look for the positives in life and be happy from within. I also learned how to be the best DIY assistant to my dad, the best hairdresser he's ever had, and the happiest daughter because of him. I love you, Dad, always and forever. I also just want to thank you all for being here today for my dad, his Richards Bay family. You've all played such an important part in the many different stages of his life. I know he often spoke about his tennis buddies he's met along the way, his work colleagues over the many years, the K&K family he would chat to on a daily, and the bikers he would ride with. When we as a family weren't with him, he was still constantly surrounded by family here in Richards Bay. And for that, we will always be thankful. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Aveer and Yashna, for those beautiful words and giving your dad such a good send-off. He's definitely smiling down on you. I want to finish off by quoting this sort of daily mantra that Yashna found on Uncle Owen's bedroom wall. It's a quote from Andre Agassi. He was one of the greatest tennis players in the 80s and 90s. It's no accident, I think, that tennis uses the language of life. Advantage, service, fault, break, love. The basic elements of tennis are those of everyday existence, because every match is a life in miniature. Even the structure of tennis, the way pieces fit inside one another like Russian nesting dolls, mimics the structure of our days. Points become games, become sets, become tournaments. And it's all so tightly connected that any point can become the turning point. It reminds me of the way seconds become minutes, become hours, and any hour can be our finest or darkest. It's our choice. Beautiful quote, and I guess it's sort of so aligned with the way Uncle Owen lived his life. Once again, thank you everyone for attending today. The body will proceed from here to the Stanger Crematorium where the last rites will be performed between 2 and 3 o'clock. Thanks to Richards Bay Funeral Services and to the Bhajan Group for being here today. Thank you everyone. Namaste.
Offering and Your hands together for Shanti Path. Om Dyav Shanti Antariksham Shanti Pritave Shanti Rapa Shanti Oshadaya Shanti Vanaspati Shanti Vishwadeva Shanti Brahma Shanti Sarvam Shanti Shanti Reva Shanti Shama Shanti Redi Om Shanti 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 Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Stand up with Bhajan Guru.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare
Was the lamping off, or you want to drop it here? To light here one day, so you can. Yeah, so you can put it off there. One day. So then the more will go to that.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama,
when we played the Fish Eagle country. Just
Namaste, Aveer Sachina. Please come along that picture and take your seat. I'll hand over to the present group to read a few verses. Today, a very sad occasion, where the soul of a young lad, Owen has been called by the Supreme Lord under tragic circumstances. We here to pray to God. Paramatma, thou art merciful. Bless the soul in heaven. And O Paramatma, give courage and strength to the loving son, Aveer, the loving daughter, Yashna, and the loving relatives who have gathered today here. Give them strength and courage to bear this loss. Dear Sajna, fire and water are two important elements associated with cremation in Hinduism. First, the body is consumed by fire. Next, the ashes are immersed in running water. This symbolizes the cycle of life. There is no death in Hinduism. There's only transformation. Just as a river searching for the ocean, the individual soul searches for the ultimate destination, moksha or liberation. Bhagwan Sri Ram put an end to his presence on earth by entering the sacred Sarod river. We come from God, we serve God, we realize God, and when the call is made, we go back to God. In the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna says to all of us, just as the one sun that gives the whole world light, warmth and life, in like manner, we have a light in us called Jiva Atma. Side by side with Paramatma, we are part of God. Yes, Sharir, this body we have, is a vehicle of the Atma, made of earth, water, fire, atmosphere, and ether called Pit up and down. And this body belongs to Mother Earth, and the Atma to Paramatma. Devi Sachino, after spending 54 years, Owen returned home. Some may ask question, young lad, what a jovial, handsome, hard-working, pleasant lad called away. All of us, when God called you to go. For 54 years, he belonged to this family, to this earth here, and now he returns. You know, some people have miscarriage, their soul was to be in their mother womb for that period only. One thing, we can't ask God the question. Some men live on the earth for 1800 years. Let us say, we all have to return to the Supreme. Prayer is a healer. Let's all pray together. Om Vishwani Deva Savitara Duritani Parasuva Yadpatantanya Suva Om Hiranya Garabaha Samnavate Sagre Bhutasya Jataha Patireka Ase Sadadhara Pritavim Yamute Ma Kasmai Devaya Havisha Videma Om Yatmada Balada Yasya Vishupasate Prashisham Yasya Devaha Yasya Chaya Mittam Yasya Mitayo Kasmai Devaya Havisha Videma. Devya Sachidam is Bhagwan, who is all-pervading, omnipotent, omniscient, omnipresent, all-blissful, all-knowing, all-knowing. We lean on him today to lessen our sorrows. By reading our sacred scripture, the Bhagavad Gita and the Ramayana, will enlighten us about Jiva and Atma, Jiva, Atma and Paramatma. And by knowing the teachings of Lord Krishna and the Bhagavad Gita, we prepare ourselves to go back to God. Some of us, when we reach 70 or 30 years old, and we say, oh God, give us a strength, guide us in our 30 more years to become pleasant, pious, humble, loving, caring, because we're going to come back to you, oh God. As a Hindu, we're supposed to practice 16 sanskaras. The time our mother carries in the womb, then till the end one called Antyeshti, until the last one. Most of us are aware of Viva Sanskar, and this is Antyeshti, Antim Prarthana, the most important prayer done in the passing of a loved one. Tvamadideva Purushaha Puranaspasya Vishwaparam Nethanam Vettase Veduncha Parchadham Tvaya Katam Vishwamanantarupam. Almighty God, who has been with us in creation, who is the supreme treasure of this vast universe, you are the knower, the knowledge, and the final resting place for all beings. You are the infinite presence in whom all things are. You pervade the entire universe with the courage, fortitude, and shelter in you. Savior Sachino, we had a lengthy prayer done at home that possibly required a GST partner. We have just 3 mantras more to complete. Om Suryam Chakshur Gachatu Vatmapa Jacha Gacha Prithivim Cha Dharmana Apavakatate Hita Moshadishi Patisha Sharire. O Supreme Lord, may all the components of this body be merged into the 5 elements of this universe. May its vision be absorbed in the sun, is put into the atmosphere, and in other senses in every element. May the soul, according to the normal deed performed here, dwell in a body worthy of such merit. We are the creator of our destiny. What we enjoy now in this life, on this earth, in this beautiful country, all the good things we did in the past lives. But therefore, we are now preparing ourselves for the new life. And according to our karma, we get reincarnated. Hinduism believes in rebirth, Puttajanamam. So, when we do good deeds, we aim for a good life and to come. Om Shammagne Pachatapa Sham Purutacham Utacham Atatapena Ekatela Veda Jate Vedaha Samya Kena Deri Sukritamu Loke. O God, who sat luminous. In the Ramayana, it says that Surya Vishnu Bhagavan ka roop hai. It means the sun represents Bhagavan Vishnu. It's so lovely to read our scripture, the Ramayana, the Gita. Please, never too late to learn and better ourselves. May the soul of this body find peace in every direction. O omniscient and all-eternal Lord, the Creator, sustainer and deserver of this universe, may this soul be given a worthy abode. Om Vayura Nilam Amratam Athatam Vaspantam Shariram Om Kratospara 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 Kratospara. Almighty God, this soul is immortal, the daughter of the 5 elements. The mortal body will reduce to ashes and will be disposed of suitably. May we ever remember you in every deed we perform. The nice sentence says that may we remember you in every deed we perform. If we take Ram Nam every moment, when we leave home, put your hand to the left, go to your prayer altar, or just with the sun and say, keep Bhagavan, I'm traveling to Beaches Bay. I have a service to provide. You give me the knowledge. Bhagavan, bless me, I'll come back safely home. And when I go back home, I go straight to the altar and say, thank you, Prabhupada, I'm happy and at home. Please, you can speak in English too. God knows all language. Don't be shy to talk to God. Om Ek Yeva Suri Dharmo Nithanyati Yaha Samam Dasam Sarvanati Gachatihe. Almighty God, all material things perish with the death of the body. It's only one good deed, the dharma, that remains with the soul after death. May the dharma never be allowed to perish. Devi Sachinam, 3 teams go with us. our dharma, our religion. When you say Om Agnai Swaha, Om Namah Shivaya Swaha, in the fire worship, Agnihotra, Yajna. In a Hindu, the Agnihotra, the fire worshipping is the biggest puja, the other rituals. Because I quote it from the Upanishad. When you say Om Agnai Swaha, that Swaha which be close to your Atma, like he touches the spoon, and when you call, that goes with you. And the third one is the charity. Diye Vedan Zinda mein saath chahte hai. The charity we do in our living position now, that will go with us. I'm not condemning anybody. Most people think that when so-and-so died, then you take the priest, umbrella, black tie, etc., etc. That is tradition. You can tell you what with the feel like. I'm not condemning that. But I'm telling you, Diye Vedan, now when you do that, feeding the needy, the hungry, clothing the naked, or doing something to serve God's creation, feeding animals, feeding birds, all these things, all that will take us to heaven and burn our karmas. Om Asatoma Sat Gamaya Tamasoma Jyote Gamaya Mritormamitam Gamaya. Also put in spirit, lead us from unto truth, from darkness to light, and from death to immortal bliss. At this moment we lost a loving son, Kosuta, at time of morning. He didn't say anywhere in the book that you must stop praying. Puja carries on. You pray, you can think of your late parents, and just say Bhagavan Vishnu, Bhagavan Krishna. Only you know where the soul is. Please bless the soul in heaven. And this is what prayer is about. You talk to the Lord. Prabhu tere dware aaye hai atma. Prabhu tere dware aaye hai atma. Shanti de do hai Paramatma. Shanti de do hai Paramatma. Wonderful poem. It says here, Prabhu Bhagavan, at your doorstep come a soul, an Atma. Give the soul Shanti. Janame marana ke phere talna, janame marana ke phere talna, mukti de do hai Paramatma. Prabhu tere dware aaya hai Atma. Prabhu tere dware aaya hai Atma. Shanti de do hai Paramatma. हम सब मिलकर करते हैं प्रार्थना. हम सब मिलकर करते हैं प्रार्थना. सद्गति दे दो है परमात्मा. प्रभु तेरे द्वारे आया है आत्मा. प्रभु तेरे द्वारे आया है आत्मा. शांति दे दो है परमात्मा. Nachiketa was a young lad. He asked Yamaraj. He went there, prayed, and met Yamaraj eventually. And when Yamaraj saw a young lad waiting for 3 days by his doorway, he asked him, "Beta, हमारा नाम सुनते अभी घबराते हैं. By listing my name, Yamaraj, he was shiver. तू पर डर नहीं है?" Lamita said, "Swamiji, why should I fear? I haven't committed sin. If one of you commit sin, does that mean?" So, beside the tree boom, a story short, Nachiketa asked Yamaraj, "What happens after we die?" Yamaraj mentioned to him, after thinking deeply, he better go and immerse your mind in Om, A, U, and Ma. Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh. Go immerse your mind in Om. That's one thing God never tells us, where we were last time and where the new life is. So you see, a lot of negative, Antha-Vishwas, blind faith will mislead us. I beg you, please read the Bhagavad Gita, read the Ramayana too. It gives a lot of beautiful word of the Lord. With that, I now hand over towards MC.
Afternoon, everyone. Thanks so much for being here today. Obviously, under very, very tragic circumstances to mourn the passing of Uncle Owen, who was our beloved father, beloved brother, uncle, and friend. We're just coming from Richards Bay, where there was a hall full of people to bid farewell to Uncle Owen, and it's just, again, just so heartwarming to see all of you today here in Stanger as well to bid farewell to him. I'm going to call on Uncle Mike, that's Uncle Owen's eldest brother, and also probably his best friend, to say a few words.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, family and friends, and the Pandit Ji especially. For all those who have been to Richards Bay, who have come there from there now, you probably would have heard my speech because I'm old school, so I write it out on a piece of paper. Well, it's from my heart, but on a piece of paper. It is with a very, very heavy heart that I speak about my dear departed and most loved brother, Owen. His full name is Owen Kushial Balwanth, and I'm his elder brother of 10 years older than him. Pardon me if I do break down, as Owen was more than a brother to me. We shared very fond and memorable moments together, from holidaying, tennis, as well as a lot of social events. Words like a tower of strength, inspirational, compassionate, and loving only just begin to describe Owen. He was warm, intelligent, kind, and funny. He was unfailingly generous of spirit and time. And I'm sure all of you know this about him. He had the most infectious smile, an eternal love for family and friends. They say that the value of a man should be seen not in what he receives, but rather what he gives. And Owen had a heart of gold and always gave. The memories that we treasure will never disappear, no matter what. Owen was the youngest of 6 siblings. His exceptional talent as a tennis player. He played numerous tennis tournaments over the last 40 or so years, most recently excelling in his age category in the Vets Championships and the Interprovincial Championships. He traveled the length and the breadth of South Africa, playing at very high levels. He was even crowned triple champion for a few years in a row, Zululand Open, singles, doubles, and mixed doubles tennis champion. Most recently, about last year sometime, he encouraged me to get back into the sport, play more squash. He says, please get back into the sport that we grew up with. And I have no regrets for getting back into tennis. Most recently, he was a very dedicated father to his 2 children. Yashna, his elder daughter, and his son is Aveer. Right? He showered them with love and affection very unselfishly. When he came to his work, he worked at Hillside. He was very committed, dedicated, and disciplined. At the hall in Richards Bay, his whole team of about 30 or 40 of his colleagues from work, as well as managers were there, all in their uniform, and they spoke so lovingly about him, manager especially. You know, it really brought tears to our eyes because we didn't know his work side. He didn't talk much about the work. He had friends from all walks of life. He treated everyone equally and respectfully, whether it was a waiter, a waitress, or whether it was a car guard. I recently had the privilege of spending an evening with him 2 weeks ago. my daughter Ellie, and my son-in-law, Wade, and I were invited. He said, Mike, come stay over, spend the night with me. We went there, he rolled the red carpet out for us. He took us around Richards Bay first on a tour, sights and sounds, and his favorite spot, K&K's. He was unbelievable, as though he was like trying to say goodbye to us. Each and every one of us here today will recall special moments spent with our beloved Owen. He would always make you special and had such a zest for life. With Owen, there never was a dull moment. I suppose in everybody's life, one thing is always certain, that we'll have to leave this place someday. God's abode is awaiting us. Brother Owen, rest in eternal peace, reunited with Mum and Dad in Ravine, smiling down on all of us from your new abode. You have served well and reached match point without dropping a set. No more fluid backhands or flawless ground strokes or crisp volleys. You have made a host of tennis friends over time and respected all of them. Words will never express how much we all miss you. Your legacy will live on and spiritually too. Owen worked and lived alone in Richards Bay in a 2-bedroom flat. He was very multi-talented. He did not have a domestic person to do his cleaning. Whenever you visited him, his house was spotless. He did it all himself, meticulously. He cooked sumptuous meals, entertained family and friends. He fixed electrical things around the house, drilling, installing TVs and screens and home theater systems, plumbing. He loved to travel and explore new destinations, and mostly he loved his children very, very dearly and would walk the end of the earth for them. At the drop of a hat, he would drive to Aveer in Bloemfontein or fly down to Yashna in Cape Town. At work, he endured the heat of the factory and high temperatures, and he covered about 16 kilometers per day in steps. He recorded this on his phone. He loved his music and movies as well. Yep, I can go on and speak for the whole afternoon, but the people who gave time this Sunday afternoon to pay the last respects to my dear beloved brother, thank you all very, very much, bottom of my heart. And I'm sure my brother will be smiling down on you all, and thank you all as well. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Uncle Mike, for those heartfelt words to Uncle Owen. Next up, I'm going to call upon Aveer, Uncle Owen's youngest son, to say a few words.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm going to be speaking on behalf of myself and my sister. My sister asked me to speak on behalf of both of us because as a teacher, I'm very used to speaking very calmly and composed in front of large groups of people, even when inside I might be breaking down a little bit as I go. For those of you who don't know me, I'm a philosophy major, so I'm what my dad called a clinical overthinker. But while I was busy pondering the meaning of life and my purpose, he was just busy living his to the best of his ability. He would always tell me, "You think too much. Let's just do sometimes." And I think that's how he taught us, through his actions rather than just through his words. I'm not a particularly religious man myself. My philosophy in life is just, do the best that you can, do good, always try and do the right thing. And I don't think anybody else embodied that better than my father. He was always there with a warm smile and a helping hand, especially around the shoulder. I had many conversations with my father, particularly about his job and where he stayed and just life in general. Especially as I grew older, I got to know him as a man, which I'm so thankful for. And I asked him if he didn't think about moving somewhere else, or if he didn't think about getting another job. Because Richards Bay is a bit dull, and his work is very physically demanding. It required a lot of sacrifice, physically, emotionally, mentally. But he would always very diplomatically say that he knew his job afforded him to live the life he wanted to. He could, go and play tennis. He could drive his motorbike. He could clock in and put his hours at K&K's, like he would always say, and see his pals there. So he was fine with it. He was very content. And that's the way my dad always viewed his life, always looking at the positives. If I can go on a bit of a tangent, when he came to my place in Bloemfontein, he was always buying stuff and fixing everything in the house. And I said, Dad, I'm working now, you don't have to buy me anything. He says, no, but I want to. And he said, no, I just want you to be comfortable. Because when I'm gone. And the other day, I actually fixed my own washing machine. And I got so excited and I sent him a message. And I said, I'm a handyman. He said, yeah, you're just like me. And I think him being so independent, he helped my sister and I, be as independent as we can be. So the main thing we want him to know is that we are going to be okay because of him, because of the way he raised us. But one perfect story which sums up my relationship, my sister and my relationship with him, is how he picked my sister up from school one day. When we were in primary school, we stayed about 1 kilometer from our school, and we walked to and from school every day. Except for one day where my sister had market day, and she had all these containers to take, so he promised her that he would pick her up after school. So she waited and waited after school, but he didn't arrive. It got later and later, and eventually she said if the next car that comes isn't him, she'll go wait with her friend. The next person that came was my father, but he wasn't in a car. He was busy cycling slowly on a bicycle towards her. She was mortified with embarrassment. So she gave him the containers, she hopped on the bike, and she cycled away. And she left him to walk home. The reason he wasn't in the car was because he had the infamous lift back at the time, which didn't start like it did on many occasions. So he didn't let that stop him. He still made it there because he made a promise to Yashna. And that's typified my dad and the way he acted. He would always sacrifice whatever he needed to be there for us, especially if he gave us his word. Just on a personal note, never mind, I'll skip that. But basically, I will leave you all with a quote, which was actually used for Superman. And I think that's very fitting, because I saw my dad as a super dad. It says, if you seek his monument, look around you. I think all we have to do today is just look around and see everyone here to say goodbye to a great father and a great man. So thank you all for, and I have to read my sister's one as well, sorry about that. She's a better writer than me, she writes in magazines now. Okay, from Yashna. When I have so much When I have so much I'd wish to say, words fail me in this time, and I feel like I cannot express myself enough as to how much I love my dad, my Yashi, as I fondly remember him calling my name. Check out my mutton curry I made, a laka mutton, sending me pictures of the food. All I can do now is replay every conversation, every smile, every dad joke, every time we spent together, and know that I had the best dad in the world. A man who was so proud of my brother and I, and all we've achieved so far. A man who would keep clippings of us every time we appeared in the newspaper, who kept every report card we had since grade 1, who always supported us in every way he could. Growing up, we truly had the best childhood. Mom and Dad gave us everything they possibly could, and at that time, it may not have been much. However, we as kids never felt the adult pressures they faced, and truly grew up as happy, humble, and carefree, fully loved by our parents, always. Fast forward to now, and I can look back smiling at every memory we created. What a full life my dad has led. Not only did he teach me to live in the moment, but also how to spread joy to others, how to always look for the positive in life, and be happy from within. I also learned how to be the best DIY assistant to my dad, the best hairdresser he's ever had, and the happiest daughter because of him. I love you, Dad, always and forever. Thank you very much.
Thanks so much, Aveer and Yashna, for those kind words. Also, just to give us some insight into who Owen, the loving father, was. Uncle Mike, you want to read a speech quickly? This is from our aunt in Cape Town, Brenda, who was married to Uncle Owen's other late brother, Ravi. Michael, can you please offer my apologies and read this out at his funeral? It is with such sadness and a heavy heart that I write this. This news of Owen's passing has certainly been a difficult one to accept. I have had no words to express the news of your passing until now. You have gone too soon, is all I can say presently. My sincere condolences to Yashna and Aveer and to all of my Balwanth family. Owen has been a dear brother-in-law and a loving uncle to my boys and I. He made an effort to be part of his nephews' lives and has hence been the closest resemblance to a father figure my boys ever had since the loss of their dad. We have missed him every time he left Cape Town to return home after he visited his kids and us, and looked forward to his next visit always. During those visits, he met many of my boys' friends here and made such an impression that over these last 2 days, Shaynell's home here in Cape Town was busy with friends popping in to sit with us and convey their sympathy. The numerous messages and telephone calls the boys and I have received is an indication of the mark he left on people's lives. To Yashna, I will be here for you when you return, and Aveer, whenever you visit Cape Town, we will be here for you too. Your dad was an amazing father, uncle, and brother-in-law to us all. May your soul rest in peace, Owen. The word funeral is one that I wish not to ever hear. It brings such finality. Please, on behalf of my boys and myself, accept my sincerest apology for not being in attendance due to the unavailability of flights. Take care and God bless. There's a little quote I'm going to read out that Yashna found stuck on the bedroom wall in Uncle Owen's house, and it was probably his daily mantra and the way he lived his life. It's a quote from Andre Agassi, who was a legendary, one of the greatest tennis players in the 80s and 90s. It's no accident, I think, that tennis uses the language of life. Advantage, service, fault, break, love, the basic elements of tennis are those of everyday existence, because every match is a life in miniature. Even the structure of tennis, the way the pieces fit inside one another like Russian nesting dolls, mimics the structure of our days. Points become games, become sets, become tournaments. And it's all so tightly connected that any point can become the turning point. It reminds me of the way seconds become minutes, become hours, and any hour can be our finest or darkest. It is our choice. That quote by Andre Agassi really, for me, aligns to the way Uncle Owen lived his life. I'm going to hand over to the Pandiji now to perform the last rites. And to anyone who has not paid their last respects, you're welcome to come forward and do so now. Thank you.
Devi Sachinor, if you all have paid tribute, then we have Shanti. Come back.
जय
Please join me, Shantipa. You may stand for Om Dev Shanti Antariksham Shanti Pritave Shanti Rapa Shanti Oshadaya Shanti Vanapati Shanti Vishwadeva Shanti Brahma Shanti Sarvam Shanti Shanti Reva Shanti Sama Shanti Redi Om Shanti Shanti Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Rama